Hello YouTube, this is Morgan, Airspeed Prime here with my next The Dragon Prince review. This one's going to be for episode 4, 5, and 6, Bloodthirsty, Empty Throne, and Through the Ice. So the middle part of this 9-episode season. Continue to really enjoy the show. Overall, definitely would say that. Definitely a little bit of a sense of, the kind of slowing down a little bit in the middle, but overall, some nice kind of, I suppose, trust-building moments between our main group and our kind of villain, Viren, kind of making some moves in the background, trying to take the empty throne. I actually really like the introduction of the new character, General Amaya, who is Ezran's aunt. In that, I just thought it was a cool idea for the character that she can't speak, so she has her kind of second-in-command interpret her kind of sign language. And then just adding to the whole history of, obviously, Harrow married her sister, so that's the kind of connection there. And you had Viren and Amaya, when they met in episode 5 and 5, argue over leaving the throne empty, not allowing Viren to actually take it just by default, and the whole issue surrounding how much should they go after the princes. I thought there was a lot of nice stuff going on here. I like that they're actually giving the villain development, in that they showed a couple of moments, it was a thing in the first episode where they made it clear that, okay, dark magic involves kind of harnessing the energy from other magical living things, and they showed him kind of, I suppose, powering up by stealing the power from this kind of glowing butterfly. It was a little bit weird tonally when they did that. I was like, oh, he killed this butterfly to gain power. But then they just kind of joke about the fact that Callum kills a whole lake of fish to save everyone. It's kind of you could have done that a little bit better. But, it is what it is. We get the point. Viren's not evil. Callum isn't. But yeah, just seeing him decide that okay, he's going to make the speech. He's going to come across as, the grieving friend of the king. I've always been his second in command. We have to do it for him, for his kids. I won't stop. I'll continue the fight. We can't let the throne be left empty. And he would have had all of it if Amaya didn't come back. And that's where I felt like that episode, which almost felt a little bit throwaway initially, but then seeing her immediately arrive back at the capital, to reveal that, oh, you've actually lied about that. You don't know for sure that the princes are dead. I just saw them and they were captured. And the whole idea is that to get out of that mess, they had to act like Rayla was actually kidnapping them. So it's still this case of they still feel the need to they're not aware that it's a friendly thing going on with the group, but that was the only way they could get out of it at that point. So I liked how the kind of plot all kind of linked together there. And then you had the argument to keep the throne empty. Then he kind of seems like he's taking a second look at this, and he begins to sort of bond with her. But then the second she leaves, he just completely dismisses everything she was about. And you were beginning to see the really manipulative side of him come out. And then especially in episode 6, where he sends his son and daughter out on the mission. And basically to both of them, across those two conversations, the things he says to them puts doubts in their mind. And this is the thing I was kind of looking for, is that he seems like he's sort of gone. He's kind of evil. He's been kind of tainted by all of this kind of bad stuff too much. His children, Claudia and Soren, don't seem that way. They seem to already have doubts. They're he said some pretty weird stuff to me. Just with regards to him asking Soren to basically purposely fail the mission, come back and reveal that you found them dead, that they died, that you couldn't find them. And then to Claudia, she jokingly is just oh, what do I do if this happens? And then he answers it seriously and it's just yeah, choose the egg over the life of your brother. And they're both kind of talking to each other, and then they're about to get to the root of the problem, but then they kind of realize that, wait, the magic that he has, he could be spying on us. So they start to there's a squirrel in the tree or something like that, so they're just oh yeah, he is weird with vegetables. So there's an interesting thing going on there where they're not fully invested in this. So I feel there's the chance for, if they ever come into contact with our heroes, to be able to be convinced that their goal is just as worthy as their father's. So I like that they left that open, because I think Claudia is actually a really interesting character in that you can tell part of it is that she's just going along with her father because she believes in him. But then there's that other side, like from the earlier episodes, where she was actually really, really likable and has some of those kind of similar goofy traits. And it's very similar with Soren, of just how he's the kind of the jock character. He's not the most intelligent, but there's a kind of nice heart to him in a way. So they're definitely playing up the theme overall of the children being able to, like I said in the previous videos, the children being able to see through some of the blockades the adults have put up about certain things. The sixth episode, I suppose the issue that the group faces in the episodes was perhaps, especially like 5 and 6, was not the best. Like, okay, Rayla's afraid of water, she likes to be on land more. That was a nice little thing. Again, it allowed the kind of trust to build of them kind of looking out for her as she dealt with that. Her then going back and sort of proving to everyone that she's going to even save Bait despite everything that's going on. You had him find the rune cube thing, and I suppose they're using this to sort of reveal to us the nature of like certain magic powers. So, that giant fish thing that came after them was actually a magical creature, and it had ocean kind of magic within it. Rayla as a moon shadow elf, obviously the moon magic kind of comes off her. Callum has the primal orb thing with the wind magic in it. And then Bait actually made it glow as well. And they made it clear that the audience could see that, but that the characters didn't see this happen. I'm not sure if it was meant to be like sun magic. I think it was sun was what they were hinting at, just because of the way it was glowing. But they didn't show us like specifically which one it was. But I think sun is what it was meant to be. It's either going to be sun or stars. I'm not sure. So that would make sense in that he glows and he can kind of blind people and the sun is really bright. So I think they're almost hinting that there's probably something deeper to Bait, but we'll wait to get that reveal. And then the big thing with Rayla across these episodes is continuing to reveal the whole idea about the kind of the assassin's kind of ribbon thing, that she bound herself in this as an assassin, that it's not going to come off unless Ezran dies and he's killed. And as long as that's happening, it's kind of restricting her hand until it's eventually going to damage it so much that she basically loses her hand. So she's going to have to find a way to get that off so she can be useful again, basically, because she's basically down one hand, as we saw here. Callum couldn't even hand her the egg without anything happening. But episode 6 was definitely the kind of bonding episode. You saw some of the issues come up. You saw Rayla come clean about some of the stuff. Callum come clean about like the fact that like he kind of doesn't trust her a little bit, because she is keeping stuff from him. But there's still the fact that in the air she didn't say what happened to Harrow, that she knows that the other band is gone because Harrow died. So that reveal still has to come out. I think during all of this we also got to confirm that like his letter went missing. That was one of the things in like I think the 4th episode. He revealed that the letter isn't nowhere to be seen anymore. That was a little bit disappointing to me, because I was like, oh, I thought that was going to be some really cool thing that we get. And that like it now seems like, where is he going to find that again? Or is someone else going to find it and read it? I'm not sure. But I do want to see what's in that letter when we get to it. I liked Rayla kind of telling Callum to stop and kind of let Ezran do this when he dives in to get the egg. Just that, given that it's all about trust, it also has to be this case of, yes, you're brothers, but you have to allow him to do this. Like, you and I are allowed to be brave. Let him do this. And, they lingered on it a bit. Like, you sort of knew they weren't going to kill him off, but they added the tension of just, he's not coming up, but then he ends up kind of being saved. He just comes up in a different spot, and they have to crack through the ice. But the big reveal at the end of episode 6 is that the egg is in trouble. I assume because it's like a dragon egg, so it still requires some level of heat, but because it's been in like freezing cold water for a while, it's potentially putting the health of the egg at risk. So they're going to have to find some way to fix that, as well as find some way to fix what's going on with Rayla's arm. All the while, Callum's beginning to use his magic a little bit more, and we'll see where exactly that goes. Because like right now, all he can go on is just memories of some of the things that Claudia has done. So he has to, like, I suppose, get to somewhere where, like, a book or something like that, where he can actually learn some of these symbols himself and use the abilities that he can. So yeah, they confirmed like wind magic is basically sky magic is a mix of wind and lightning / thunder. So that was interesting. Anything else? Just Viren kind of being built up in the background. Their aunt kind of going back to the kind of fortress to hold off the elves, because the war is still going on, of course, while all of this is happening. Runan is still in prison. He's not talking. So yeah, there's stuff in place. I think they're very much setting up now some sort of a confrontation between Soren, Claudia, and the hero group as we get, I suppose, closer to where we're trying to get to. I don't think we've got to the details necessarily yet of how exactly handing off the egg is going to work. Like, are they going to like give it to someone in particular, like the leader of that kind of dragon tribe, or the leader of the elves, or what? But I suppose we'll get to that. I am wondering though at this point, like there's only 9 episodes left, so there's only 9 episodes in the season, so there's only 3 left for me to cover. It seems like we're just in this middle point. Like, if this was 20 episodes, I'd still think we were like fairly early on. Like the fact that like we're 3 episodes from the end of this season, I'm kind of worried that like it just will end without anything having actually happened, and we just end in midair where like, oh yeah, they're just still traveling and there's no real reveal. So that'll be interesting to see what they do over the next 3 episodes, and that it would feel weird if they just completed the mission, but then there has to be a reveal that comes out of this to end the group of episodes they're putting out here. So yeah, I'm as I said, I'm still enjoying it a lot. It's the characters are well done, and I hope they, in these last 3 episodes, do what they need to do with Claudia and Soren. They have to. The big one is the reveal about Harrow's death to them. Callum and Ezran. I hope they do that well. As for the animation, it continues to be a sort of thing where like I'll go for like a minute or 2 and it'll be like, okay, yeah, animation was pretty smooth, and then all of a sudden clunky scene, and then you begin to notice it's a bit more clunky scene, then you forget about it for a minute or 2, but then it comes back. Like, it's not something that, like with a lot of shows where like there's maybe a slight problem with the animation, you just kind of lose track of it over time. I think with this one, it's bad enough when it pops up that it really does take you out of the moment. So I think it is a notable criticism, and I don't want to be just dismissive of it in terms of like, oh yeah, it's only a minor issue, we'll let it away with that. No, when you begin to focus on it, you do notice that at times it gets quite bad with the stuttering, and that some scenes work and it's fine, and then others it's just not great. So, you know, the technical side of things is definitely where the struggles seem to be. The creativity, the writing, the characters doesn't seem to be too big of a problem for this show at all. I definitely want more depth, because like I love the opening of like the very first episode with the kind of lore, kind of this is what the world is, kind of information dump. I kind of want a bit more of that, whereas it feels like we're obviously developing the characters and the trust between them. I'm just worried that the number of episode count might end up being the thing that affects this chunk of episodes, especially if they wait too long in announcing when the next group of episodes is going to be. But anyway, that's my thoughts on episodes 4, 5, and 6. A lot of stuff happening there, kind of political maneuverings and trust building, but very good. In the comments, let me know what your thoughts were on these episodes, and yeah. One last video on the Dragon Prince today to cover the last 3 episodes of the season. But yeah, that's been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.